Welcome back. This is Eric Smith, 5 Reasons Sports contributor, co-host of a new podcast called Scouting the Fins, which is available under 5 Reasons Sports and 3 yards per carry. And today we're going to continue the review of the Miami Dolphins 2024 offensive line. Last week we looked at the offensive tackles, doing separate reviews for Teron Armstead, Austin Jackson, and Patrick Paul. And this week, we're going to do work on the guards. I think we can all agree that the guards were not good enough in 2024, and in an ideal world, we would remake that part of the offensive line position room. With that in mind, we're going to look at Rob Jones, Liam Eichenberg, and Isaiah Wynn all together. I really don't like doing videos where we're not sharing film, but since I would like to see upgrades from all of these guys, I'm not putting the time in to do individual film reviews for this video. If that's something you're interested in, there were off-season reviews of each of these guys and 17 videos of weekly game reviews for the offensive line on my channel that you can check out. I'm going to try to keep this short, but there will be a lot of talking and numbers in this video. The grades that I share are not just arbitrary numbers between 1 and 10. They are based on a calculation of grades for each player collected on every play of the 2024 season. So your confidence in my grades should come down to whether or not you trust my ability to decide whether each play should be graded as good or bad. If you're a returning viewer, you've probably already made up your mind there. And if not, please feel free to check out the catalog of videos on my channel, most of which have film reviews where you can see if you agree with how I view the plays or not. So overall, you can see in the top right here that there was 5,700 plays graded, and 8.31 is the cumulative average of all of those snaps. All 3 of the guards were pretty similar in their grades, and they were all below average. When we look at the pass blocking, they were very similar. Wynn was a little bit lower, but the limited number of snaps that he had can skew the grades for that. And in run blocking, as we've seen with the tackles, this grading system is not weighted, and players consistently grade better in pass protection than run blocking. Still pretty similar grades. Wynn is a little bit higher here. Again, that's on limited snaps and still below the overall average. Let's take a deeper dive into the different types of assignments in pass protection. So when protection is slid to their side, so for Jones, this is going to be when it's slid to the left, and for Eichenberg and Wynn, this is going to be when it's slid to the right. So they are getting help in these situations, and as expected, they're going to grade pretty well here. Not a whole lot of separation in this blocking concept. When they slide away, so this is going to be protection slid to the right for Rob Jones and protection slid to the left for Eichenberg and Wynn. These situations put the guards on a little more of an island. The tackles are usually manned up on an edge rusher, and the center's eyes are going away from the guard here. Jones was the best of the group here and still graded lower than any of the 3 offensive tackles, except for the few snaps that Patrick Paul was playing out of position on the right side. And this just wasn't good enough. When we look at when they were pulling, this is going to be play action type pass protection. This is going to be off of a counter or a long trap or a power concept. Wynn only did this once, so obviously not enough to grade. Jones and Eichenberg were similar, with Eichenberg having a slight edge here. All right, let's look at the run game. So Wynn's going to have mostly not applicables here. because of his limited number of snaps. And the first one we're going to look at is a power concept to their side. So this is more your gap or man schemes. So this is counter or power or trap, where the concept is in the direction of the guard. This was a surprising area for Rob Jones, coming in with one of the worst grades of any player when we break it down into different types of blocking assignments. Eichenberg, being almost up to the overall average, was also a bit of a surprise for me here. Outside zone to their side. I think a lot of people view outside zone as needing linemen that can get out and run in space. But the reality is that a lot of times it's more about how a lineman can, be quick in a phone booth, especially for interior linemen. It's not about how quickly they can beat the defender to the sideline. It's more about the ability to win with short area quickness, cut off a first level defender, or to quickly work through a combo to cut off a linebacker. Jones was not good enough in this area, but his ability to get in position and anchor better than Liam, I think, is probably most responsible for the difference in grade here. Inside zone to their side. So this is almost always a combination block. I don't think it's a big shocker here that neither guard was good enough, and that Jones, with his edge in the power game, was a notch better than Eichenberg. All right, let's talk about when the play is going opposite of these guards. So when they're pulling, again, this could be long trap, power, counter. This is where the guards are pulling to the opposite side of the formation. Eichenberg is a better athlete than Rob Jones, and that's where this shows up some. And I'm starting to feel like a broken record, but even Liam's grade here was not good enough. But you can still see the gap that exists in his ability when pulling versus Rob Jones. Outside zone away. And again, not about winning with speed for the guards. It's about winning with quickness to hit the landmark and to cut off backside pursuit. So this is one concept or blocking technique that Isaiah Wynn did have enough snaps to qualify for a grade, but it was still a low number of snaps. Only doing 11 times leaves plenty of room for one negative grade to really impact that. And then the final one here, so this is inside zone or duo away. These grades aren't too far from the inside zone plays to their side, and that shouldn't come as a shocker because the asks in an inside zone or duo concept are very similar on the front side and back side, where they're both looking to get vertical movement. All right, so if you've been along for the entire ride through this offensive line review, you can see that the performance of the tackles far outweighs the performances of any of these guards. And that really shouldn't be the case. The assignments asked of the guards are typically easier than what they're asking from the tackles. Well, I stand by my statement that playing with any of these guys as your fifth best offensive lineman is something you can still have success with. I've never said that any of these guys should not be looked at for places of improvement. Considering the performance of this group in 2024, despite being fairly healthy, I think having some likely stability in the expected starters at both tackles and center will provide a great opportunity to see some fresher faces at the guard positions without really sacrificing that continuity that we talk about all the time. My next video should be finishing up the 2024 offensive line review, which will be a review of the center position where only Aaron Brewer played in 2024. As always, leave a comment below. Let's keep the offensive line talk going. Feel free to come find me on X under @OLCoachSmith63, where I share a lot more opinions and film breakdowns. And as always, thanks for watching.